don't know what that feels like.
It's strange, isn't it? Very strange, but it's good to put a bit of makeup on for somebody and get dressed up.
So we're live now, guys. Good morning. Hi,
good morning.
Welcome to Hospo Live. I'm Angela Malik. I'm a partner at Think Hospitality, and it's a great pleasure to have you on the channel and chatting to you today, Dawn and Nick.
Good morning.
Great to be here. Great to
How
be
are you,
here.
Angela?
Yes, good. Thank you. Pleasure. So, I guess let's just get straight into it. I'm really interested to know more about you both and hospitality jobs. So why don't we start with Dawn telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, and then Nick can go.
Hi, I'm Dawn Redman. I'm the founder. I'm one of the directors at Hospitality Jobs UK. Also very proud owner of a recruitment company, H&R Recruitment. I've worked in recruitment for over 30 years, previously as heading up recruitment for Dixon's Currys and PC World. That's a bit of an in-house sort of joke, that one. But so yes, I do a lot of work for the industry, very much advisory to the industry, and recently I got an article coming out, for example, for the BII, and work quite closely with other industry suppliers. Hence why it'd be good for us today to talk about how the suppliers are supporting the industry. So,
thank you. Nick.
So yeah, love that. Ladies first. Yeah, so I am co-owner and director of Hospitality Jobs UK. Dawn and I met, I'm going to say 18 months ago. We launched the new Hospitality Jobs UK site last year at the House of Commons, and it's been a hell of a ride so far. So we're starting it from scratch, rebranding, setting up the system, making it user friendly for candidates and clients, and sort of standing for sort of that little bit more in terms of the industry and social responsibility. Excuse me, get my words out. Intertwined obviously with the commercial aspects, and yeah, sort of keeping ourselves quite busy during this time. Looking forward to taking it up a gear or two. So it's good. Yeah.
Great. And what's your background in hospitality, Nick, or not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. My background is predominantly takeout, sort of 3 months labouring in Australia and working in various sort of I don't know, factory places during those times. Sort of growing up in hospitality with my other brother, and yeah, it's always a way to make money. So I moved into supervisory sort of junior management role, but was always a way of getting through my psychology degree with no real idea as what I was going to do, and then moved into recruitment briefly. Very different, a commercial temporary recruitment company, which was fantastic actually. It was for with Blue Arrow. Got great training and support, learnt sort of commercial side because I didn't have a clue, and looked at sort of the value that could be added through people really, and then something was missing, so I woke up one morning and thought, well, I think I'm going to set up a recruitment agency, and I hadn't done recruitment in hospitality, hadn't done any permanent recruitment, so it was a bit of with a couple of £1,000 savings in the bank account, knew I could live for a couple of months, just sort of did it, and fortunately found a couple of clients to work with, and things sort of went from there really. So yeah, went in blind, and that was quite a while ago. I'm going to admit to 17 years actually.
Oh.
Wow, both veterans then. So you came together about 18 months ago and set up Hospitality Jobs. Tell me about what is the USP of Hospitality Jobs? Where are you based? What kind of clients do you look for and candidates?
Go for it, Nick.
Okay, fine. Okay, so the USP I think it's really the fact that we're young, we're small, and we're maneuverable. We've got a very clean database. So what we're doing is we're focusing on that less is more model. So we're looking at 4 candidates plus or minus 1 per job posted, but that are relevant to the position. And look at just flip the switch on the script, even on the habit that I certainly was in as a recruiter, for going through multiple job boards, multiple applications, and just sort of sifting for that one nugget really amongst many non-appropriate candidates. So we've been sort of fortunate to join the market at this point, with the new model, and we're working really hard to make sure that that actually is a model that we stated, that we don't go to volume. On rare occasions we will. I mean, we advertised for Emirates, and I think we've got, I can't remember the number, 100 and something in the first sort of hour or so. But that was about volume, and it was about attracting those candidates. But when it comes down to a recruiter's point of view within a business, it's about providing that shortlist really, rather than the long list. It's probably the best way to put it. And in terms of the candidate attraction during these times, it's a place to be, sort of making sure that the site works properly, so candidates can apply easily, clients can apply easily, but we want to make it that they're applying to positions they want to apply for, rather than just clicking a button, because we found that in my recruitment business, you get candidates that just applying to everything. They don't know where they've applied. So there needs to be a thought process of a candidate who is serious about joining a company. So I don't know whether that covers the USP, or that's just a sort of general overview as to sort of who we are and what we do, perhaps.
Yeah, we've got a couple of other USPs. I think one of our main USPs is we don't have recruitment agencies advertising on our job board. And we made that decision, both Nick and I have recruitment agencies, and we wanted to separate the job board from our agencies. So the great thing for our clients is anybody that advertises on our job board, they know that if they don't get time to see that candidate on a Monday and only get to the candidate by Wednesday, they haven't had a recruitment agencies nip in and take that candidate. So that's one of our USPs. And I think another one is our partnerships with other industry experts, and also the UK trading bodies, and think hospitality, Harry, HIT training. Those guys are all making it really, really supportive, and we embed ourselves in our social corporate responsibility as well. We're huge ambassadors of Only a Pavement Away. I'm the recruitment ambassador, and Nick is their events ambassador, and also Springboard. So we do a lot of things that make us a little bit different from the rest, and we're very agile. So if somebody wants something quickly, it gets done quickly. So yeah, very proud of the job board.
Yes. And what would you, so I mean, very strange times that we've all lived through. What have you been doing during lockdown?
Can I go first?
Yeah, go for it.
I can see the pattern here. Yeah.
Yeah, no, only because not at all, Angela. But well played. Talking to Dawn a lot. That's the reason I wanted to jump in first. So we've been working a lot. Obviously we haven't sort of put ourselves on furlough, and just completely sort of focusing on the industry responsibility and the social responsibility. So a bit of a challenge in there for charity, and then a bit of a just creating positive noise. And everything we do has been focused around supporting people in the industry and creating positive noises, because it's actually really tough. Because individually, I think that I don't think anyone could honestly say they haven't had more extreme ups and downs than they potentially have done in, let's say, normal life. So in terms of keeping each other sort of focused, keeping an eye on each other, I think it's fair to say there's been times that Dawn's given me a call and said, Nick, just give me a shout if you need to, and vice versa. And obviously looking after the keeping in touch with the team, just keeping an eye on each other really, and trying to sort of create a positive outreach of sort of humility and sort of realness, but with a sense of optimism.
Yeah, I mean, together we've been working really hard to ensure that we are still visible in the industry, but we have been supporting the industry in so many different ways. For example, we did a project with HIT Training where we produced a booklet for students to come into the industry, because we're looking at that young generation coming into the industry, and we were heavily involved in the CV templates and writing covering letters, and that was with HIT Training. Went out to 120,000 students, and it's a book that's in every university and college across the UK. We're obviously doing the Hospo Live stuff, just trying to inform people and trying to be real and bringing some real people to be interviewed. I mean, our last interview with two chefs was amazing. It was hilarious, good fun, but it was really honest talking. We've also been doing stuff with our UK trading bodies, doing a lot with BII. Big fan of Steve and Molly there, and also keeping in contact with our partners. We did a conference back in a couple of weeks ago, and it was in association with the Montgomery Group, HIT Training, and Beers and Peers, which Nick's heavily involved in. And it was fantastic. We got over 1,000 people viewing us at that particular time. We've had several other thousand view the conference afterwards. But this is probably the first time, actually, Angela, that we're actually talking about ourselves. We normally talk about other people. We talk about, I'm in the Altogether group, which is the pro bono group that gives advice to people free of charge and offers them support with recruitment. And I've got a couple of clients, candidates, actually, I'm working with, helping them through their next career because they've been made redundant. And this is just, so we're working, actually. I thought it would be a bit of a breeze, a bit of a holiday. Certainly not. And also our partners, conscious of what they're doing, suppliers in the industry. I think what people forget about is, we talk about pubs, bars, restaurants, hotels, and the struggle they're having. But what keeps those guys abreast are the suppliers, like the Brakes, the 366, the 363s, the Reynolds, the Heinekens, all those guys, and IT technology companies. And they have been hit incredibly hard. I mean, literally overnight for us as a recruitment supplier to the industry. Literally one day we, from a recruitment agency perspective, one day you had 120 jobs, the next day you had 0. So for us, it's actually what can we do? We could just sit back and ride the storm, but we thought, let's put ourselves out there, let's give some advice. Between us, we've got probably about 55 years of experience in recruitment and from very different backgrounds. So as a team, I think we're pretty dynamic, actually.
And from the kind of perspective of clients, that we work with, and one of the things that everybody talked about pre-COVID was the lack of supply of labor in our industry, and how are we going to start to encourage young people to come into the industry? Where are we going to see, how are we going to find chefs? How are we going to find skilled workers? What do you see coming out of COVID now, this huge shift that's going to occur between lack of supply to suddenly an oversupply?
Do you want me to do that? Okay. So this is my personal view, and I always have an honest opinion about this. There's going to be some real casualties in this, and it's going to be a huge shame. And we're going to lose some great people. Potentially, we may have lost some great people that have gone back they decided to work in the retail sector or warehousing or delivery. And they're thinking, actually, I don't want to do a 60, 70-hour week as a general manager. So there will be loss of people, and there's redundancies. And sadly, some of our colleagues and friends have gone through those redundancy processes. And it's going to be tough out there. So what do I think about us? I think we need to keep motivated. I think we need to keep positive. I also think that we will make mistakes, and I think we all will make mistakes. I think when those pubs opened, when those hotels opened, whenever people will make it, but you've got to make those mistakes so you can move forward. As an industry, I don't think, as an industry, as a platform, we've had a really great platform during COVID-19. We're on the news all the time, and hopefully, everybody says, let's all open on the 22nd of June. Will it be successful? Our success rate is whether the customer will come back and walk into that pub, whether the customer will walk into that restaurant. I will be one of the first that will go into there, and I will dine out as much as I can to support my local community, plus to get out of my house. So was there a struggle? We're trying to help the youngsters because we did the project with HIT training to bring them back into the industry. Everybody I've spoken to has been positive. There's been a very small minority of negativeness, and the negative ones, I really feel for them because their business are going through a traumatic time. Our business is going through a traumatic time. However, we either sit and sort of ride the wave, or whatever the terminology is, or we do something about it. So we're surfing our way through COVID-19, and we come out the other side stronger, better relationships. The relationships I've got now, I didn't have before COVID-19, and they're really great people. So yeah, that's my view of the candidates. What do you think, Nick? What do you think about?
I think it's a great question. It's almost, it is a question that people are asking, Angela, a lot, and it's that. My guess would be that as businesses open, obviously there's kind of surveys happening at the moment in regards to sort of re-engagement with the workforce, who wants to come back, who doesn't want to come back, and obviously there are legalities behind that, from an HR perspective. in the long term, one of the things about sort of being an ambassador for hospitality, which is why I'm involved with Beers and Peers, and obviously the Hospitality Proud campaign. It's where we are at the moment is obviously a slight reset. Hospitality has been viewed very much as a fall into option, or not a proper job, means to an end for something else. Which is it can be, and in some ways it should be. But actually, the career side of hospitality and the encouragement of teachers and students to not put off, little Johnny, who they see him as being fantastic and being served, not serving. It's, well, actually, he could be on a 6-figure salary if he applies himself, and has an amazing career in an industry where he thrives. It's surrounded by people and positive challenges, and lots of fun, lots of hard work, and all the the real things that hospitality stands for. So I think in terms of the staff shortage, we're always going to be having that sort of lag effect. I say always. I think realistically for a long time. Initially, there's obviously going to be a surplus of candidates, which is why we're certainly looking at those routes for candidates into companies to make it doable while maybe profit levels aren't there. And everyone has lost money. So it's a case of then, okay, write that off. Let's get over it, and let's help be a contributing part of the economy, which we know hospitality is massive. How the public see hospitality, a customer is going to be a little bit more respectful, hopefully. There are some, we've all worked in hospitality, we know what an awkward table, an awkward customer looks like. And it's the whole supply chain as well. So, we provide staff, and it's how people behave and treat each other. I suppose in an ideal way, this part of life is to taught people to think differently and to behave differently, and it is the opportunity for hospitality to continue to stand up for ourselves and say, look, we are great, we are an amazing place to work, we forge amazing careers, yes, met with challenges, but isn't that part of life? And actually providing some of the the great sort of culinary establishments that are sort of world renowned, and people that are sort of internationally known as well. So in terms of where the UK stands in the in the eyes of the world, we've got an opportunity here, and we don't always come out best, as we know, but there are always opportunities as well. So first to shut, arguably not last to open, but things are happening now, so it's going to be a trial and error process, and as Dawn says, there's going to be mistakes that are made. That's just a fact, but it's how we individually, we collectively sort of learn from those and adapt. And there's some really good guys out there that both on an operator, a supplier, and an organisation body-led aspect are all sort of championing together. And I suppose the collaboration of what we were seeing, with the whole kind of Brexit effect, and then obviously now the extremity of lockdown, is a case of the hospitality community is so positive, it's so strong, that the message going out there to attract people into what is seen as a really viable, reputable industry and career choice is potentially optimistic for the future, but with the the challenges of any industry, job, and life as a whole, really, Angela.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm keen to kind of come back to hospitality jobs, and tell me a bit about going forward. Do you see yourselves kind of looking at specific sectors in the industry? What level of candidates? If I was a candidate, who am I, and what level am I at? And tell me a bit about that.
So the job board is it does what it says on the tin. We are a hospitality job. So and the hospitality, for me, it's anybody that serves anybody a drink, a cup of coffee. It's not all about pubs and bars. It's also about leisure centres. It's also about contract catering. So we are a job board that provides an advertising platform for anybody that's
right
for entry
I
level,
see.
all the way up to director level. So, for example, if you've got somebody who wants to be a barista, or somebody a kitchen porter, a housekeeper, reception, general manager, chef, every level of chef, all the way up to ops manager, ops director, and head office. We mustn't forget head office, because everybody seems to forget head office in hospitality. There's always a big white sort of, I like to call them a white ivory tail, because they're not. They're so easy to approach, but they support some marketing roles and IT roles. So they're the type of roles that you can find on the job board. And then for candidates, we partner with lots of different companies to make sure we attract the youngsters into our sort of industry. So again, we do a lot with HIT training, because I think apprenticeships will come into big time when people go back to work, because they are guaranteed to be there a year near enough, because they're going to get a qualification at the end of it. But also it's quite cost effective for the employer. And I'm not talking about paying them minimum apprenticeship wage, but these guys, these youngsters do actually want commitment. So I think there's an opportunity there. So we advertise a lot of apprenticeship roles on our job board as well. And as a candidate, you can come along and you can just register. And if you register, you can request CV alerts. So you can, job alerts. So basically, if you're looking for a job in Watford as a chef, you can put Watford chef. Every time a chef comes up, it will go into your email box. So we're making it easy as possibly can for our candidates. And one thing we decided to do on our job board, which is a little bit different for others, is that we want candidates, sometimes candidates don't want to add their CV unless they actually want to apply for something. So we're a facility they can just register. So they can get all the benefits from our job board, as they can get email alerts, they can be involved in. We send out at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, our top jobs. So they can get involved without physically feeling they have to register. So if they're on a bus or on a train, they quickly want to register and see what's out there. That's what they can do with our job board.
Right.
And staffing up for the client, for the operator base, staffing up is all about planning in advance and having people sort of ready to go, and trying to sort of be ahead of the curve in terms of the staff shortage. But yeah, I agree, it's 100% Hospitality Jobs UK. And but what we have done during the lockdown period is offer our platform, because there is no market. There was no market. It was very much a case of, well, we've got something that's useful here, and obviously our moral compass is quite strong, and we want to do the right thing in the right way. And so we offered up our platform really for free of charge to the care sector, and because we're obviously very much hospitality ambassadors, we wanted to protect the hospitality industry and keep as many people as possible in the sector. So what we did was offered it out to the care sector, and anything that was hospitality or closely related, they were able to advertise jobs on, and there were sort of 900 jobs going on there, and it was yes, of course, we've got sort of ongoing costs, etc., but that would have been almost the same without that. So it was just a bit of a sort of pleasure and privilege to be able to offer what we've got for free of charge. But we haven't mentioned that until now because we didn't want to sort of create too much visibility, but it was quite an honest sort of platform for the care operators to be able to use. And we saw a really good flow of candidates going into the support side of care, sort of through hospitality, and I think that's what sort of hospitality does across the board. And watching a lot of other operators that are supporting the vulnerable, and getting meals to the NHS, and the support of the NHS really, which is such a key part of getting through this sort of difficult time for so many. So it's very like every little helps. But yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's fantastic. So you actually saw a lot of people going through the platform then directly into jobs in the care sector.
Absolutely.
We got an increase in, and we're still getting an increase daily of people registering for Hospital Jobs UK. And I think it's due to what we're doing here, but also due to the work we're doing with, the apprenticeship side, due to the work we do with on our website, we have a couple of pages. One is dedicated to apprentices, but the other one is dedicated to pubs and bringing people into the industry. And these are lease and tenancy pubs. And we've had an influx of lease and tenancy people that I think they've probably thought, actually, I don't want to be a manager anymore. I don't want to be a head chef. I want to run a pub. So we've got an influx of candidates that have actually said they're interested in running pubs. And it's interesting. We thought the numbers would go down. The job numbers went down, the job adverts went down, but the numbers of candidates registering went up. So the ratios actually are really quite high. So and we've had some really good supporters with why we've been doing this as well, because we wanted to be an informative tool. So we do some work with the People Factor, for example. We do a HR clinic on a Friday, and we just do sort of little snippets, and it's having those little pieces of information. We keep in contact with our competitors. We talk to the guys at say cater.com, and we talk to the guys at other places, but we want to know what's going on. But we are just a really honest platform, which is very agile, and I see us just growing from strength to strength. Really proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's interesting. I mean, one of the things I've thought about is post-COVID, are we going to see more cross-industry collaboration? And actually, is there something to be said about the care sector and the hospitality sector? And is there an opportunity there for your business to perhaps pivot or expand into an area that maybe you hadn't considered before?
Well, the care sector, every care sector, whether it's even nurseries, care homes, all have kitchens, and they all need people to actually support them. So whether you're a housekeeper in a hotel, you could be a housekeeper or cleaner, whatever you want to call it, in these care homes. But all the care homes have chefs, and people are just looking at different ways to work. I think one of the biggest changes that the industry will change is the way they work and the hours they do. I think they will be going down to 4-day shifts. I think they will be doing 1 weekend on, 1 weekend off. I think they really will be adaptable. But that's what I love about hospitality. It's not like retail. I've got a retail background when I worked at Dixon's, and hospitality are agile, and they absolutely communicate with everybody. They communicate, they share things, and I can ring up, a couple of local pubs I don't even work with and ask them what they're doing, and they're really happy to share. So I think we've got to keep strong. There's going to be some casualties, but I think we will get through this, and we will get through stronger.
Yes.
We will. Excuse me for
laughing
chuckling. You know exactly what I'm chuckling, Don. You know exactly where. It's a bit of an in-joke, something to do with Dixon's. Anyway, so
and what about you, Nick? Where do you see the opportunity?
I think when you mentioned sort of cross industry collaboration and hospitality as a pivot, I think there's a natural. I mean, we've always worked in sort of hospitality within the care, the education, and the sort of B&I sector as well. Crossover into events, but conferences. So people have the visibility to move between the two. And I think we would sort of proactively encourage the movement between industries as such. I think there's a natural sort of movement, and I think to stay true to sort of what you do. One of the things that we've talked about during this period, and touched on before that, was doing one thing and doing it well. So the bottom line is our sort of raison d'etre on a commercial aspect is about delivering candidates to clients, and being a sort of a chosen supplier, and that's sort of our focus, and to sort of put a pin in hospitality, and keep as true to that as possible is where we stand in terms of the larger market. I mean, there are always going to be there's always going to Dawn mentioned her background, and in a serious way, there a lot of people you see sort of moving from sort of retail into hospitality and vice versa, because there are a lot of there's a lot of similarities in terms of how the operations work, from sort of product to delivery really, and although the different the differences are obviously quite clear. There's a lot of sort of shared skill set there. I don't know. I don't. It's a tricky one really, because we've got a skill shortage in hospitality. So one way we want to sort of hold on to that, and the other way, we're all about people. So we want people to thrive in their own careers and lives. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see what what the staffing. We know there's going to be a surplus of candidates to start with, because operators are opening on very very low percentage of what they could turn over. But obviously, it's only a moment in time. We know there's a boom coming. It's a fact, and everyone out there is holding their nerve and doing things at the moment to make their operations better, slicker, compliant, and it's not really as relevant to the question you've asked, Angela, so forgive me, but I think we see our market in very much an investor market at the moment, and it's a really big game changer. What the customer are going to, it's all about the customer. It's all about what the general public want, in terms of the sustainability of our sector. So that will change. It'll be fresh for the customers. Everyone's gone through a mental reset, and all the components that sort of comply with that in terms of the thought process and the emotional ups and downs, and what make us human beings really. So I mean, from our side, we're hospitality hospitality through and through, and keeping that aspect of we're somewhere to go to get hospitality stuff.
Fantastic. So we've got 30 seconds left. How do we get in touch with you? Tell us the website, etc. What's the best way?
Okay, the best way to keep in contact with us is either contact myself and Nick through LinkedIn, or go to the website, which is www.hospitalityjobsuk.com, or you can call our head of sales, Paul, on 01442 87775. I didn't quite keep you saying that, actually. But we're here to help, but we can advise on anything, give you tips, give you help, but our main objective is to get candidates coming and applying for your jobs.
Brilliant. Bang on 30 minutes. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to meet you, and I'm sure our paths will cross again.
Definitely. Thank you, Angela. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. Bye. 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 Well done.
Fantastic. Thanks. That was really good. Flew.
Pleasure. Nice to meet you.